But we know that hormones are secreted and they come from glands. What are their actions? What are they like? Hormones can be a steroid type of material, amines, peptides, proteins, glycoproteins. Amines are going to have nitrogen in them. They can influence target cells even if that chemical is in that area for a very short period of time. So hormones are very site-specific. The levels in your body can change. Funny side note, you do have times when hormones fluctuate. So probably more common in women than in men. During the menstrual cycle for a female, hormone levels increase rapidly, drop rapidly. Obviously, that's going to affect the body. A pregnant woman, there's a new hormone that shows up in the body and it peaks, and obviously that has an effect on your body. So when we say that people are hormonal, obviously these hormones do affect you and these hormone levels. Steroids. Steroids are actually made from cholesterol. A lot of your reproductive hormones are steroids. Amines come from amino acids, norepinephrine, epinephrine, most of your thyroid hormones. Peptides, antidiuretic, oxytocin, and we'll talk more about these a little bit later. Polypeptides, parathyroid, and your growth hormone. Growth hormone is very important for you to reach your full potential. Growth hormone also pretty common in the news with abuse of growth hormone. And then glycoproteins, follicle stimulating and luteinizing hormone, both of those are also reproductive hormones. And then thyroid obviously deals with your thyroid. Steroid hormones, like I said, they come from cholesterol. They're lipid soluble, they're fat soluble, and can pass easily through cell membranes. So they transfer very easily. They're carried in the bloodstream, loosely bound to proteins, so there's not a strong attraction to them in the proteins. They're carried fairly loosely through the bloodstream. Receptors for any steroid are located in the nucleus. So that's something specific. If a steroid hormone is being released, the target cell is going to pick up that information in the nucleus. The steroid has to reach the nucleus of that cell. Then the hormone receptor is going to bind with the DNA that's in your nucleus, and then that's going to activate certain genes that will direct the synthesis of specific proteins. So, basic terms, the hormone goes into the nucleus, attaches to the DNA. Your DNA carries codes of, hey, make this or don't make this. And it's going to activate a certain gene that says my body needs more, whatever, estrogen. So then your DNA is going to turn on the code that says make more estrogen. Kind of a picture, this directly relates to biology and transcription inside of the nucleus, translation that took place on your ribosome. So what happens is this hormone comes into the nucleus, makes a difference on what's happening inside of your DNA. That message is sent out here, and now these amino acids are going to produce whatever hormone is needed. Non-steroid hormones are going to combine with receptors on the membrane, so not in the nucleus. The receptor site are the receptors, the target receptors are going to have a binding site and an activity site. So the hormone receptor triggers a landslide of activity through the cell membrane, and then that ends up making its way to the inside of the cell. This cascade is called signal transduction. So it starts at the membrane and it works its way to the inside. The hormone receptor complex activates a type of protein, usually called a G protein, and then that protein is going to activate enzymes that bind to the inner cell membrane. So steroid hormones go to the nucleus, non-steroid hormones go to the cell membrane. Enzyme is going to take 2 phosphates from ATP, here again, biology review, adenosine triphosphate, very important for energy inside of your cells. It takes away two of these phosphates. It makes cyclic AMP, and it's called cyclic because it can be used, these phosphates then can reattach and deattach. So it can be used over and over again, and that's going to activate proteins. These proteins then are going to make changes. Not every non-steroid uses cyclic AMP. Most do. Some use diacylglycerol, DAG. For our purposes, the cyclic AMP, CAMP, is the most common. And here's kind of a picture. What I basically want you to know here is a hormone receptor complex. Basically, this is a spot on the cell membrane that says, hey, I'm here. This is where you're supposed to go. The non-steroid comes here. Information is used. ATP is broken apart. This enzyme is going to start acting on these proteins and change the protein so that it makes changes that are needed. So this movement is called transduction. Starts on the outside, moves to the inside, and makes changes. Prostaglandins are lipids. They're produced in a certain area, and they usually affect the organ in which they are produced in. So prostaglandins, very specific. They do not go far either. They produce a variety of effects. They might relax muscles. They might contract muscles. So here, wide variety. They might secrete hormones, influence blood pressure, reproductive system. Basically, you should know prostaglandins are a lipid. They're produced in one spot, and they stay in that area. So if I need a muscle that needs relaxation, that prostaglandin is going to be produced in or near that specific muscle. And that's where we'll stop for today.